Between dirt, debris, and grime, it might be time to clean your garage floor. Of course, there's the manual way, but I prefer a powered option. A wet dry vac can be a handy tool to have in your garage. Many work as a vacuum and a blower. Now that's pretty powerful. I like to do this to just dust out the garage, but be careful not to blow out any debris like trash that shouldn't go outside. You can blow and sweep all the debris into a pile. Instead of a dustpan, put your vac into it. Growing up, I was always forced to sweep the garage. If you want to tackle any stains or marks, use a brush head on a long handle. You only need a little dish liquid and warm water. Don't even need to break my back bending over. And even some power wash can be effective if you want to use that on specific stains. There's even attachments you can use for power scrubbing. This is cutting through all of this. A little clean water to rinse, and now using the wet vac to clean it all up. And the rest should air dry in no time. With the right tools, cleaning your garage does not have to feel like a chore. If parking your car in the garage is a guessing game, this is for you. For precise parking, try a simple solution like a ball and a string. These can be really inexpensive, or make your own with a tennis ball. Position your car exactly where you want it every time you park. I like to position the ball in the center of the driver's side. Make sure the string is straight and lays against the windshield. Now just mark a spot in the ceiling. A lightweight screw should be easy to install into drywall. This is a classic solution with a 5-minute install. This also works if you back into your spot. A laser parking assist can be a great option, especially if you're parking 2 cars. I like to install these with an adhesive strip, and you can also secure with additional screws. Then simply just choose a target on your dash that you'll align every time you park. And you can find options for plug-in or battery powered. Installing your own parking stops may be the best option. I like to use a bit of painter's tape to mark where the stop should be installed. Sweep and clean the area where the stop should be installed. Many will come with an adhesive, or you can find one at a hardware store. Align it with our guide and press down. 3 options for precise parking every time. You can be your own locksmith at home. From rekeying to upgrading to digital options, replacing door handles is a simple project most people can take on themselves. The cutouts in most doors should be universal, so you'll just need your new lock or replacement lock to install, and it's really easy. To make things more comfortable, reach for a stool or low seat. For most installs, all you'll need is a screwdriver, and make sure you get the right fit. I keep a container nearby, that way no pieces roll around or get misplaced. To remove locks, you just simply unscrew everything, and to reinstall, you simply place everything where it goes. I'm gonna start with the latch mechanism. Everything needs to connect through this. Just make sure everything's facing the right direction, and it may take a little wiggling to get things in place. The inside locking mechanism, the key mechanism is on the right side. Before you screw everything together, you can give it a little test to make sure everything's working correctly. That all seems good. Then I'm gonna use the provided screws to get everything back in place. I like to do this by hand. You can use power tools, but be extra careful not to strip your screws. Keep things loose at first. You can go back around to tighten everything up. Now's a good time to just make sure everything is aligned and working properly before we do our last tightening. Now I'm just making sure everything's in position and all the screws are nice and tight. Last few twists by hand just to make sure screws don't get stripped. And if you are replacing deadbolts, the process is very similar. A lock project is something I know you can do. It takes a few minutes and simple tools. Repairing or replacing window screens is a project you can do yourself. You'll need replacement screen big enough to fit over your frame, a roller tool easy to find at most hardware stores, a utility knife, and replacement spline. You want to carefully remove the existing spline. It may be helpful to use a screwdriver or small tool to pry up a little bit. Carefully pull it all out. Now you can discard that old or damaged screen. Now roll out your screen, you'll want just a little bit of overhang. Now you can cut out your piece. I have some excess on this side, so I'm gonna trim that up as well. Align that screen and then tape it into place. I'm gonna trim a little excess and do the same for the opposite side. Avoid covering the channel where the spline goes with your tape. Your roller tool has 2 sides, a smooth and one with a channel that's grooved. Use that smooth side and gently press the screen into the groove. Gently press some new spline above the screen. Now using the grooved end, press it in firmly. Be careful not to cut the screen, and you may need to go over it 1 or 2 times. Repeat on the opposite side. The screen should now be held firmly in place and you can complete the remaining 2 sides. Now you can carefully use scissors or utility knife to clean up any remaining screen. Screen repair kits can be a quick way to patch up a screen, but rescreening is simple and it's gonna be your best long-term method. If you're headed to the hardware store to pick up supplies, make sure you have all your measurements, and there's a variety of screens and spline out there, so make sure you're choosing the right one for the job. From the big screen to the small screen, this is a project anyone can take on. Upgrading a shower head is a project you can take on yourself. Even though there's a ton of options out there, most should be a simple universal install. You just need some basic tools to remove the shower head. To protect the fixtures, you can use some tape to cover your tools, like Pac-Man. Chomp, 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 chomp. You'll need plumbing tape. It usually comes in a blue spool. The new attachments should simply screw on, and you can follow the package instructions for any special details. Use your tools to loosen. You should be able to use your hands for the rest of the way. Clean off any pre-existing tape and corrosion. Wrap the tape around the threads a few times. Firmly press the tape into the threads. Secure the components for the new shower head, and you can use your tools if needed for a tighter fit. This is the attachment for the shower head itself. Screw on the hose. A new shower head in no time. Now you can turn on the water and check for leaks, but everything should be working perfectly. Who's a plumber now? No drips, no leaks.